Hello.
Hi.
Another awkward intro.
Welcome back to the Phases podcast, guys. So, Jade's been up to some pretty cool stuff in the past week. A lot of cool stuff, actually. Do you want to
I don't know if I'd say cool stuff. I'd say a lot of stuff. It's been a stressful week.
fill us all in?
Well, today I have a sick chicken, which has been stressful because I've never had a sick chicken before. I've had chickens my entire life and I've never had one be. She's like really messed up. So that's been fun dealing with trying to figure out what it is and trying to treat her and separate her from the others and blah, 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 blah. And it sounds like it might be Merrick's disease, which is incurable and contagious.
Oh no.
So hopefully the others don't get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, she might have to go to chicken heaven, which is a bit sad. Yeah, that's been fun this week. What else? The Glyphosate petition, it closed after 22 days with 32,000 signatures. So I've been dealing with talking to all the politicians, which is something I never thought I'd be doing, and it's super scary. And then I ended up getting it reopened. I wrote to them and asked if we could reopen it, and they said yes. So it's open again. So if anyone can go, please sign it and keep sharing it. We're going to try to keep growing it. And
we'll add the link to the petition in our description.
Yeah, I think we're up to 32,600 now. And we're going to be organizing an event at Parliament, an official handover of the petition to the MP while Parliament is sitting, so they can all come outside, and hopefully there'll be a group of us with some signs and stuff, and we can hand it over. I can hand it over, which is super terrifying, and it's like stressing me out, but I also know that it's important. But I'm an introvert, so
whoop whoop. I'm proud of you. Getting out of your comfort zone. Deep breathing.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of like, I've been really go, doing all these things, superwoman, sending thousands of emails and running my business and training my dog and dealing with the chickens and like going into shops and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, like I'm feeling really good and confident. And then the introvert hits. And then I'm like, what am I doing? Oh my God, I need to hide right now. I need to leave the country.
What is that?
Yeah.
It's like our...
Is it like cortisol or something?
Yeah. Like we go back into our shell and think, oh no, we've made all these plans and now we don't want to follow through with the plans.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's like self-doubt, really, like imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Anyway, what about you? What's going on in your world?
Well, look, we're in two very different phases of life at the moment. Over here, we're all about slow living and just kind of in a bubble, I guess.
Yep.
In mum life, toddler phases.
Yeah, heading into winter.
Yeah.
It's nice to do that.
Yeah, not too much happening in our little slice of the world.
That sounds nice.
Yeah.
I'll trade you.
I've been wondering why my nervous system has been feeling so wrecked lately. And I think that's why. Like, I've never really lived such a quiet life. And my body doesn't know what to do. And since I used to be addicted to chaos, it feels really weird not living that addiction.
Yeah. I don't know if it's something we've kind of been taught or if it is actually just human nature, but like value and worth is so based on how much work you got done today and how accomplished you are.
Yeah, that's like a societal programming to make humans more productive. So we become mice on a mouse wheel.
You mean like the rat race?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure part of it is like just human nature because it was you do or die really. Like you had to stay busy, you had to be helping out in the village and be what's the word? It's like when you're like part of something and you have to be putting in the work like evenly, you know, contributing. Yeah, so I'm sure like if you were back in the village in the caveman days, if you weren't putting in enough work, then A, everyone would probably die, and B, be shunned and kicked out. So I'm sure part of it is that.
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective. I've never really thought about it like that. I always imagined the villages back in the day being like harmonious and peaceful, and
Of course he did.
if you weren't feeling good that day, like everyone understood and it was fine, and then like everyone just
Yep, I'm sure back in the Viking days, if someone was had a tummy ache, they'd understand. We'll just press pause on the, you know, raping and pillaging for the day because Thor has a tummy ache.
I don't think I was around in the Viking times, eh? I was probably one of the witches that got burnt.
Mm, yeah. Do you think it was actually witches that got burnt though, or was it just like poor women that they thought were witches?
Nah, I think it was witches.
Hmm.
A certain kind of witches.
I don't know much about that. Be interesting to look into though.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really know too much about it either. So, after all of that, how are you really?
Oh, I think I hear my brother calling me. I'm gonna go.
Is this like your most hated question to be asked?
Probably.
It's not really something that is common these days, eh?
Hmm.
I feel like if someone asks, "Oh, how are you?" everyone, their normal response is just like, "Oh, good. How are you?"
Yeah, they don't actually want to know.
But also, it's everyone's habit to just say good.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of that.
I heard something really interesting on a podcast about that the other day, which is like it was all about intuition and how intuition is actually almost like intelligence. Like, and we, you know how you know a person immediately, you will like get a feeling of someone immediately. There's often we'll do the exact same things with everybody. Like everybody will say, "Hi, how are you?" And even though there's nothing there, it's not deep. You can kind of get a gauge from that how people are and what they're like.
Mm,
Like if someone says fine, then you know that they're not fine and you know that you should back off. Whereas if someone's, happy to see you, that's a different, and like everyone, the energy that you get in that time, even though there is nothing there, it's not deep, you can still, like, your subconscious can get a lot out of it.
that's kind of like from tone, though,
Mm,
because they say that the saddest people come across the happiest. Like Robin Williams and stuff.
I was just thinking him. It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, there's so much to it.
Yeah.
So back to the question.
I don't know. I'm good. Like, I am. Life's good. I'm broke, which is fun. I'm self-employed, so it means that money is. It's not. I don't get paid the exact same amount every single week. Like I have to chase clients and do work to get money. But for the most part, yeah, life's good. Keeping busy, trying to do my 2 dog walks a day and go to the gym for an hour every day and do all the things. But yeah, I don't know. Every day I'm like, I love my life. Life's good.
Yeah,
Cruisy. Every problem I have is completely made by myself. Like this whole petition thing that's stressing me out, it's completely my own fault. And then I didn't need to do the chickens, but I did. But yeah. So it's all like me, which makes it easier to deal with, I guess.
Yeah, that's good.
And I also know where I'm at in my cycle right now. I think I'm end of ovulation phase, probably. I know that right now is when I have energy and motivation. So I need to be staying really consistent. Like, I'm going to go to the gym every single day because I know that I can, because I know that in a week or so, I'm going to be in a very different energy. So I want to make the most of this time and do the most. But that is also exhausting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to find that balance.
Yeah. Anyway, that's that. I'm good. How about you? How are you really?
Just round it out. I'm good.
She's deep.
Well, I'm good too.
Uh-oh. What was that tone?
Nah, overall, I am good. I just am battling a little bit with my nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
It's just acting like something's chasing me at least once a day,
Mm-hmm.
to the point where I almost can't do the thing that I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I get that feeling.
Mm.
It is so hard to convince your nervous system that you're safe and everything's okay. And
Yeah.
it's it's just like having to cook dinner. It's not the end of the world. Everything's gonna be fine. But there is something that's really hard about that.
Yeah.
Do you notice it with certain things triggering it, or like after certain foods or certain times of the month?
Yeah, so the most recent one was actually when we were taking our toddler fishing for the first time on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
I just, for some reason, was hit with the realization that I need to keep myself alive and this other small human.
Well, you do have a lot of trauma around boats, don't you?
Yeah. But I didn't think it would affect me when I took him out. And once we got in the boat at the boat ramp, I was completely fine. Like it was all gone.
Mm-hmm.
But just the anticipation and getting there, I was a mess.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I guess with your pasts, that doesn't surprise me that there'd be some kind of underlying fear, especially with your baby.
Yeah. Yeah, I really thought it was all gone, but I don't know. Will be interesting to see what it's like next time.
Mm.
But even cafes and stuff, like, I've just become such a person who doesn't like people.
Mm. Yeah, same. I can't stand town or cafes stress me out too.
Mm,
So I mean, I don't know.
yeah, I don't find it enjoyable anymore. I don't like sitting in a small space where I can hear everyone else's conversations.
Yeah, and then you can't hear your own conversation because it's so loud, so you have to yell.
Yeah. But then I'm getting overwhelmed trying to be a part of a conversation, but then hearing 10 other conversations that I don't want to hear.
Mm.
I need to learn to block it out, but oh, that's so draining.
Yeah, I can't stand town. I was actually driving around today, and there was a car in front of me driving so slow, and I started yelling at the car. And then I went, "Oh my god, I'm my dad." I sounded just like him. I was, I guess that happens
Yeah.
because he used to just have like meltdowns every time we go to town. Like he could not handle it. He could not handle the people. He wanted to be on the farm, secluded, and now that's 100% me.
So that's where I get it from as well.
Yeah, must be the steel side.
Yeah. I even went on like a nice nature walk on the weekend thinking, oh, this will help me recharge. The whole time there was this couple that were just talking about all their drama very loud so everyone could hear. And I returned from the walk feeling worse than when I left.
Mm.
But I don't know how to block it out. Like, how do people do that? How are people around those kind of people all the time and feeling fine?
I don't think they are. I think they're probably got all of that latched onto them and don't even realize it.
Yeah.
Imagine being like a city person. I couldn't. No.
But I used to be such a city person. I loved the city.
Hmm. I always like the idea of them,
Hmm.
but then you get there and 5 minutes in, and there's a homeless person and stuff on the ground. And you have to like wait for traffic to cross the road. Ugh.
I don't know. I used to love it. But
Hmm.
yeah, now it's definitely not for me. Maybe because I was in survival mode, and when you're in survival mode, you are just focused on surviving, so you don't actually notice the stuff around you.
Yeah.
But then when you come out of that, I guess you're on alert more
Hmm.
because you're not in that zone.
Yeah. I think as you become more sensitive to things as well, and like get to know, I guess, more in tune with things, then you become more sensitive.
Yeah, it's almost like living in survival mode is somewhat easier than living out of it.
Mm. Yeah. I kind of thrive under that, which isn't healthy.
Yeah, I guess that's what society wants, though. They want us to think we thrive in survival mode so that we stay there and we're easy to program.
Mm.
What are some things that you do to support your nervous system, and especially during the past week when you've been under lots of stress?
Mm. Okay, this is a big one. I do a lot of things. I've kind of learned all of these things that have really helped me because I used to be a train wreck and so anxious. Um, I think I've learned a lot about the circadian rhythm now, and I think that is so important for all people's health, but especially for women, for all of women's health, for women's fertility, for women's hormones, cortisol levels, all of it is having a set circadian rhythm and routine. So have like rising at the same time every day, eating your meals at the same time or as close to the same time as you can. Just so it and like going to sleep at the same time every day. So it tells your body that you're safe, we have food, we're not in like this famine state or panic state because our bodies completely revert back to that survival mode of being by a campfire. So I've learned that, yeah, just having that as much of a routine as I can within the other chaos of my life really helps me. So that's like watching the sunrise every day, eating my 3 meals, um, going to the beach every single day and putting my feet in the sand or on the earth. That's really good for all of the things. Um, what else? Take my L-theanine every day. That's amazing. I love that stuff. Um, what else?
Yeah, you got me onto that. And let's just say it's life changing,
Yeah.
especially if you have a constant inner monologue.
Mm.
It just tones that right down. You can barely hear it.
Yeah, I find it's gentle too. Like it doesn't feel like you're. I don't know. I've never been on medication, but I'd imagine that medication feels so much more intense. I guess. Whereas this, it feels so. Just everything feels a bit more calm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been taking L-theanine for years now, every single day, and it helps with the coffee jitters as well, which I used to get really bad. Coffee-induced anxiety.
Don't drink coffee, guys.
Drink your coffee. We're like the angel and the demon on people's shoulders there. And I also take mushrooms every day. I love reishi for nervous system calming. Definitely very important for that. Um, Also helps with the coffee jitters and sleep. Gym every day as well. I do that. That's very important for my mental health. And the chiropractor every couple weeks. I think that's it. Oh, and sauna. I think that's everything. Your turn. What do you do for your nervous system?
I guess mine are quite different to you actually.
Hmm.
I do EFT tapping.
I have done it before. I
Yeah.
didn't notice a huge difference with it, but I didn't do it for very long.
Yeah, I think you have to be consistent,
Hmm.
and I really notice the benefits if I'm feeling anxious or if I'm feeling a strong emotion and I do a tapping video on YouTube. I feel really good after.
How long do you do that for?
Usually just like a 10-minute video,
Hmm.
nothing crazy. And I'm really bad at doing the same things every day, so I don't do it every day. But if I'm feeling like an intense emotion, I'll usually remember to do an EFT tapping video.
Hmm.
Meditation, I used to be super good at it every day, and it's something that I've started doing again.
Nice.
So that really helps, especially when you are a toddler mum, because they are very chaotic. Journaling, I still journal every day, most days. That really helps me just get everything out of my head.
Hmm.
Going out in nature and focusing on one thing at a time. I know as a parent that's like probably not just parents, but it sounds impossible, but it's not. I feel
Hmm.
like in society now, it's super normalized to be doing the dishes and watching something on your phone or, hanging the washing and you're listening to a podcast or anything like that.
Are you talking about me?
If the shoe fits. No, I think it's really important to realize when you're doing that and just make a small change. Just one time a day.
Hmm.
Don't do two things at once. Don't watch TV while you're folding the washing.
I think the biggest one, the most important one that's changed my life is don't have any screens while you're eating your food. Like if you're eating a meal, sit down and focus on your food because your digestion starts in your mouth. Like you need to be focused on your food and enjoying it and chewing it and tasting it because then that sends all the signals to your gut to actually digest it well. And so if you're watching the news or some horrible thing and it's putting you in like a bad mindset, then you're not focused on the rest and digest, and it's bad. So don't do it. Just if that's one thing that you learn, don't stare at your phone while eating food. And it's really hard to do. I do it too.
Yeah, I am so guilty of that.
Mm-hmm.
I love eating my dinner and watching MasterChef
Yeah.
or eating lunch and watching a YouTube video.
Hmm.
That is my guilty pleasure. But yeah, I see how it doesn't benefit me whatsoever.
Yeah, and it's hard, especially when you're eating by yourself, to just
Yeah.
like sit there alone in silence eating. But it can be like a self care wellness thing almost. Like really focus on your food, take your time, chew slowly, and then just see if that helps. Because so many people have digestion problems and don't even connect that.
My hands up for that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, focusing on doing one thing at a time, it is hard and it is boring, but that's the whole point. I think it's good to be bored and it's good to go inward, I guess.
I heard once that multitasking is just doing multiple things badly,
Yeah.
which is pretty true. Like we are like, oh, women are such good multitaskers, but you're never going to be if you're doing 50 things at once, you're never going to be doing any of them well.
Yeah, that is true because when I try and bake three things at a time,
Yeah.
they don't turn out too good. But when I just do one thing at a time, it's
Mm.
usually pretty good.
Even baking while trying to do something else. That's that's how I nearly burned the house down. I think what's important is like looking after yourself and making sure that you have an ability to cope with stress more. But then when you are really stressed or dealing with these hard moments, having like a toolkit of things that you know will support you and help, having those are really important. And just
Definitely.
getting really good at doing those, even if like I'm really bad at journaling, but on the days when I feel really messed up, I know that a journal will help. So I do it.
Yeah. I think that's what going through life is about. As you get older, you're sort of gathering tools as you go
Mm, yeah.
and figuring out what works for you, because there's a lot of things that won't work for you but will work amazingly for someone else.
Yeah. And I know so many people that don't have any of those things at all, but in order to cope with life, they have these other vices,
Mm,
weed or alcohol or gambling or just being in a bad relationship or whatever it is. Even like going to the gym, but making it into something toxic and unhealthy,
yeah.
like things like that that they use to cope with life. Whereas if you can find something that is actually going to help benefit you, then that's good.
Yeah. I 100% used to be that person. All the substances, all the gym and
Mm,
food addictions, and
yeah, food's a big one.
yeah, chaos addictions, even like arguments and things.
Mm, yeah.
Not good. It's so strange living such an opposite life now.
Mm-hmm.
I never even knew that that was a thing.
Many phases of life.
Yeah. And you can change your life whenever you want.
Gonna put that on a t-shirt.
No, but seriously though, you can change your life whenever you want. It is so doable.
Yeah, and you don't have to, like, you're never too old.
No way. You could be 70 years old and change your life completely.
Have you been following? I've been meaning to mention this to you for weeks, and I keep forgetting. Have you been following Sailing with Phoenix?
Nope.
It's super cool. It's this guy who's in America. He's just like working a corporate job, and he got diagnosed with this like weird thing where he's like in danger of becoming disabled with his spine. So he just up and quit his job after that. He was like, I hate this. I can't do this anymore. I don't want to live like this anymore. And so his dream, even though he'd never sailed a day in his life, his dream was to become a sailor. So he like bought one and renovated it, and he started recording it on social media with just people following him and his cat Phoenix. I forget the guy's name. But he then finally like saved enough money and built the boat, and then has been sailing live and recording every single day on Instagram his sailing trip from Oregon to Hawaii. So like every day he's
Cool.
been on the boat with his cat, and he's like the most awkward guy. He's not an influencer or anything, but he's gained like millions of followers, and people he's become so massive because people are just obsessed with the fact that he actually did it. He did what
Yeah.
everybody always talks about, quit the rat race, and he just like took a chance. Like he's got 2 million followers, but he just finally made it. His name's Oliver.
That's amazing.
I think it took 24 days, but he's going kind of crazy by the end.
Yeah.
With my this is day 12, sailing from Oregon to Hawaii with my cat. I sailed 1,000 miles today, and before that, the furthest I had sailed was 78 miles in a river, and now I've sailed 1,000 miles in an ocean. And also, on this day, not only will I have sailed 1,000 miles, I will have hit 1 million followers on Instagram, and for that, thank you all. Truly is unreal. I'm hoping I'm not just insane. But today we're going to celebrate. One of my friends snuck on some beers into my boat. I don't know who this company is. I don't know anything about them. I'm not affiliated. I'm not sponsored. But I thought it was really cool that it was Maui. So Maui Brewing Company, shout out to you guys.
Anyway, you should follow him because it's been very entertaining. Because it's just this completely normal guy who like had a change in his life and was just didn't want to do it anymore. So he did something. He did his dream. He made it happen, and he's blowing up right now, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, that's so cool. It seems to be that's authentic.
Hmm.
That's the definition of authenticity and showing up online just as yourself.
Yeah.
That's what people need and love. It seems so hard to do unless you have some sort of big life change. Do you know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's so many people who dream about quitting their corporate job and sailing with their cat and moving on a boat and just going, just leaving, just doing it. But they never would because it's just like they create these things in their mind and oh, it's too expensive and oh, how do I make money? But he did it and then like the universe just made it all happen for him. And now he's probably got all kinds of brand deals and stuff because he's become so big.
Yeah. That's exactly how manifestation in the universe work is if you show the universe that you have the courage to take that first step,
Mm.
they'll carry you the rest of the way.
Yeah, definitely.
So cool.
Mm.
Crazy the power of social media too.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And people could follow the whole journey.
Yeah.
It's very inspiring. What would you do if you could do anything? If you had like a little pipe dream your whole life?
Mm,
Even something crazy like skydiving or learning how to salsa dance or something.
I've always wanted to be someone, I guess it's kind of like a nurse, but not a nurse, who coaches people through their medicinal trips.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in the wrong country for that.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
Might have to move to Peru or something.
Amsterdam.
Yeah, that's kind of all. I've never really dreamt big. I think I haven't had the capacity to do that.
Hmm.
But then also, I just feel content.
What about when you were a kid? What did you want to be?
I always wanted to be a nurse
Hmm.
because I wanted to help people, but then I learned that nurses don't help people the way I thought they did.
Hmm.
But other than that, my life has always just revolved around wanting to help people.
Mm. Yeah, that's cool.
What about you?
Mm. I don't know. I've wanted to be so many things. Like every couple years, it changes.
Mm.
When I was a kid, I wanted to be in the rodeo.
Is that because your dad was?
Yeah, probably. And I wanted to be a storm chaser for a while.
I love watching them.
Yeah, they're cool. Um, I wanted to be an architect until I realized you need to be good at math. No, thank you. Yeah, so the other thing that I've done to myself this week was started a new course on natural health and nutrition, which is super interesting because I'm like obsessed with this. It's become a real passion of mine. And I've thought about for years becoming a naturopath and studying naturopathy, but it's a long time and I know that there isn't a lot of money in naturopathy. And I was worried because I know in a lot of these courses, like nutrition courses and stuff, you can get the kind of standard cut and paste, like industry standard lies, basically. And I didn't want that. So, yeah, anyway, I found just a short course online that I'm doing at the moment. It is so interesting. And just listening to so many podcasts and reading lots of books and just spending way too much time researching natural health and nutrition and all of this stuff, which I've been doing for years, but I love it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where you go with it because I feel like it is so you.
It's really cool that people I know now, like every week, somebody random is messaging me asking for advice on their gut health or a certain thing that they're struggling with, which is wild that they would ever think to message me. Like, are you dumb? But I don't know. I take it very seriously and I like do intense research into it and hopefully give them good advice based on my own experience.
Yeah, that's why they ask you, because you care.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely bossy. Like I would kind of love to be a health coach in a way, but I'd be like, you need to be doing this and this and this and this and this. And yeah. Anyway, I've learned so much just in the last couple of days. Like I have been taking beef liver supplements every day. And I learned that if you take too much beef liver, that can give you a copper imbalance, which I definitely think I have a copper imbalance, and that can cause like dermatitis and eczema. And I've suddenly developed dermatitis all over my hands, and I've never had it. Like very rarely have had it, and I was like, "What the heck is this?" So now I think maybe it's because of that. So now I'm like, "Oh, well, maybe I have a copper imbalance. Now I need to do some work with that." So yeah, I'm just learning stuff like this every day, and it's so fascinating trying to figure it all out.
Yeah, there's so much to it and so much to learn.
Mm. Yeah,
But that's
and
cool.
there's so many trends and things that you do because other people do it, or some it works for somebody, so you try it, and then you can waste so much money.
Mm.
I'm about to do a hair follicle test, which should be interesting. So that should show all my mineral imbalances and like chemical levels, hopefully. So that should be interesting. Let everyone know how it goes.
Yeah. How does that work?
Yeah, well, I just in this course, I was reading about how I had no idea, but blood tests, when you do a blood test, if your blood is low on a certain mineral, like iron, instead it will just pull that nutrient that it needs out of the surrounding tissue so that when you do the blood test, your blood might come back completely normal because it's reading that, oh, your iron's perfectly fine. But it doesn't mean that the iron in your system and your whole body is perfectly fine. Whereas when you do a hair follicle test, it doesn't do that. So it's a much more like you just send a few snips of your hair away and they test it. It's supposed to be a much more accurate reading of your mineral levels and nutrient levels. So I had no idea about that because I hear all the time where people are like, oh, I went to the doctor feeling like absolute crap, zero energy, ill, and the blood test was fine. So they sent me home. Yeah, exactly. It happens to everybody. And people, I had no idea.
Yeah, I've been meaning to get a blood test for a while, but something keeps stopping me, and I think maybe I should get a hair follicle test
Mm-hmm.
instead.
Yeah, well, I was reading it's $99 and you can send it to a naturopath in Tauranga and she'll do it and then send it back with the full report and advice. So I'm going to try it, see how it goes.
Mm.
Because I'd way rather do that than go to a doctor.
My 1.5-year-old has been talking heaps lately and saying so many new words.
Mm.
And I wanted to share with you all his latest word, and it's my absolute favorite. Are you ready? Can Molly say mushrooms? Mushrooms. Mushrooms. Mushrooms.
Aww, that's so cute. I love how he was like, I said it right. I said it right. And then, like, when you didn't, like, say, yes, that's good, he had to, like, yell it.
Yeah.
Like, I said it.
He's such a strong personality.
Mm.
He's a Capricorn moon.
And it's Sagittarius, right?
Yeah.
Mm. Good luck with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening to episode 6.
Boop, boop.
a little life update type of thing.
Yeah. I've heard that people like when we talk about the mental health stuff, so hopefully that was good. Satiated you.
Like always, if there's anything you want us to go deeper on,
Yeah, let us know.
slide into the DMs.
And make sure to subscribe, follow, leave a review, all the things. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.